All right, how's everyone again? Bob's back again. Sunday night. I'm going to drop a political one. This one will not be on Facebook. It's on YouTube and TikTok only. My Facebook group members asked me not to do politics on that group. So I agreed. But I do consider myself a political animal. And we do got the federal election coming. And what a weird, strange ride it's been. So, when we still had that the young fellow there, young Justin, if they had held the election right then and there, it would have been a conservative blowout. They would have crushed all the other parties, and they would have won quite handily. And then since then, and they changed leaders of the Liberal Party, and they got Carney, and then the crazy man south of the border started with all these tariffs. And yes, we do see auto factories closing already. The one close to where I am, I worked inside that plant for a short while. They're in layoff already. You're saying it's because of sales, but whatever. Say whatever you want. But anyways, it's on shut. It's on layoff. So there you go. So you got that. So then it looked like it was going to be the Liberals with their new guy, Carney. They were going to get a majority about a week ago. It sounded like they were running away with it because if we're heading in uncertain financial times, and this Carney guy has worked at the National Bank of Canada and the National Bank of Britain, and we're heading into uncertain financial times, then I guess a lot of people were thinking that he's kind of the logical choice. And now, from what I understand, it could go either which way between the PCs and the Liberals. And I just see now Global News is saying that the Liberals lead dips for the first time since Carney was the guy for the Libs. So they're saying 42% for Liberals and 36% for Conservatives. So that's real close, man. This one's going to be one of them nail biters. If you're one of them people that gets like real crazy about politics. Again, I know a lot of people are going to think I'm a hard left. I'm not. I'm a hard center. I wish that we could use the Conservatives' kind of fiscal responsibility in most areas, except for all the privatization shit. That's where it ends with me. That's no longer being fiscally responsible. That's being friendly to the donor class, and I don't like that. But they can stop sending all of our money overseas and stuff like that. I know it's mostly a political ploy, and it's mostly just numbers on a computer, and half the time it doesn't happen anyway. They pledge it, and then they never send it. Canada pledges $2 billion, and then they don't send none of it, or a very small amount of a portion of it, or whatever, right? From what I understand, anyways. So, but when you hear it announced on the news, and then you think about all the people that are living hard, and maybe the situation that you're in personally, like I'm in a tight spot right now, and I'm fucking hoping I can stick handle out of it. Let's see how it goes. Applying every job in my trade in my area. Let's see what happens. Um, but I am looking for a sponsorship on this channel, anyways. You mentioned that at the end. So yeah, so if they could get somebody in there who's a little bit more fiscally responsible, a little less tax happy, and could keep the social programs that are needed going, and actually expand them, and maybe give them a little bit more, because it's hard to live on what they get, whether it's old age pension or OSDP or whatever it is. You're counting your pennies till the end of the month, and then you do it all over again. So, so if they can find a split between that, and that, then that'd be the guy, the person I would vote for. So they're saying that it's going to be the 905 that determines whether it's a majority or a minority. So they're already calling the liberals to win. That's crazy. After 9 or so years of liberals and all the shit that they've done badly, and have a good idea and execute it 100% wrong. Let's get immigration. It's good for the economy. It is. It's 100% great for the economy. And what do? They don't count the housing that's available to the amount of people that they're bringing in, and they turn it into a housing crisis. Then what do? We're building houses like an MF. What do? They jack up the interest rate, and housing, boom, slows right down. You can hear it squealing down the highway. Now nobody's building nothing. So I like that Carney guy's idea about maybe the modular houses, the wartime houses. They got a bunch of those wartime houses in the city I live. And like he said, they're still standing. They're still got families living in them. And they got to do something about housing. They got to get housing to start again. And then when the housing starts, the trades get working again. And then it's kind of whatever's going on with the tariffs, whatever. We can whatever that one away and get going on construction. If the government's got to fund a couple big projects to get the shovels in the ground, to get the people back to work, then I would suggest that they do so. Because there's nothing better than having all your people back to work, happy, not stressed, paying their bills, and moving through life. And it's just it's an easier way. I don't know why they can't see it. I know that if we lower interest, it's going to raise inflation. The inflation has already rose and never came back. It never came back down. The prices never came back down after COVID. Maybe in a few items in here and there in the grocery. I'm a single guy. I do the groceries for my house. I know what shit costs. It's expensive, man. It's expensive just to feed me and my son. It's expensive. Unbelievable. So when they raised and that wasn't the government's doing. That was the greedy corporations who did that. The corporations, when they see a crisis, the first thing they do is raise their prices because it's at a time that people are too concerned about other things like staying alive, possibly. And I don't want to get in the COVID debate because it came and went. Let's not talk about it anymore. It was a drag and it was boring. But they raise their prices and sell supply chain issues. Stop it, man. Stop it. You saw the reason, they saw the chance, and you jacked the prices, and prices generally don't come back down. You go in there to buy a pound of meat right now, it's $8 for a pound of medium ground beef. Give me a break. Give me a break, man. And that's even, it doesn't matter if you're at the so-called expensive store or the so-called discount store, they're all the same. $8 for a pound of medium ground beef. Give me a break. And so that's an issue that I don't see them talking about very much out there while they're campaigning. Is the affordability problems that we're having in our country, where groceries seem to cost twice as much as they did a couple years ago. And no, like I say, my personal belief is and I think it's true, is just corporations jacking the prices. So, I know if we get the conservatives, he's promising to get rid of the carbon tax, but Carney beat him to the punch on that one. So, it's another one of them things. I don't think even if they drop the carbon tax, that our general prices of other goods, except for at the pump, are going to necessarily go down. I like getting gas now. It's affordable again. Let's see how long that lasts. Okay, TikTok people, we're out of time for you. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Get out there and vote. This is an important election. And again, love and respect to all of you. Okay, so that's it for TikTokers. And then the other big issue that's always in my mind, because of the part of the city I live in and stuff like that, is what are they going to do about the people living outdoors, man? They're popping up camps in the woods down by the river, different parts of the city. They get bum rushed out of there. It's obviously not my backyard, and that's how everyone looks at it. Can't say I blame them. I look at it too, same way. Um, but you don't hear anyone saying what sort of, if they got a plan or if they got an inkling of a plan, if they started talking to people about this, because it's an expensive thing, and it's going to have to be a multi-pronged sort of effort. You're going to have to stop that garbage from getting in the country somehow, and they haven't stopped anything else from getting in the country. So how are they going to stop that? They got to get these people that are down there on the street and openly using it, and they're living hard. You got to get these people into rehab somehow, and you have to expect them to fail at it a few times. And you have to just keep getting them into rehab until finally it catches or something, man. And counseling and all the shit that goes with it. You know what I mean? It's all wrapped up together, and it's not a one solution that's going to work for the next person and all that stuff. It's a complicated issue, but somebody has to address it. It has to be addressed at some point, or we're going to end up with a whole generation of people living out there in tents in the middle of a city with empty buildings all over downtown. Somebody's got to come up with some sort of plan on some level of government, on all level of governments. It has to be. These people need to be helped. It's got to be cleaned up. Everyone needs a chance. It's got to be dignity. A chance at dignity and living. All right, things got to where they are, and that's where they are now. You can't punish them for the rest of their lives for that. Help them get out of that spot. Nobody wants to be in that spot. Help them get out of it. You're saying young men are gonna. What's this? How young men are changing what conservatism looks like in Canada. Again, I'm not going to be the guy that runs down and votes conservative. I kind of don't think I'm going to be the guy that runs down and votes liberal either. So, and I was talking about, the Jordan Peterson and the Joe Rogan phenomenon, but that's more in the States, I think. But yeah, so this Canadian election, we'll have to see what's going on with these crazy tariffs that nobody understands and they don't make sense. Maybe they can get another free, what was it called once, NAFTA? Maybe they can get another NAFTA drawn up or something like that. Gotta get everyone so everyone feels that they're not being taken advantage of, which he's not, but if that's how he feels, I guess. Gotta do something, because I think the automotive industry, I heard on the news the other day, it's 500,000 people. And then all of a sudden we are in a recession, and some of those recessions take a long, long time to get out of. So it'd be nice if they could figure a way to stop it before it hits that, get the interest rates down, get the shovels in the ground, get these houses going up. They say we need 1 million houses. Well, then let's get building them. Figure out a way. Let's get building them. So that's what I got. It's going to be an important one. I think it's going to be a close election. The other thing I don't like about our elections is it's a very small amount of eligible voters actually vote. And then you only have to get a majority of the people that voted to win. So you can win power with about 15% of the eligible voters voting for you, is the way the math works out. So it'd be nice if they can find a way to get more people to the polls, so it's an actual representation of how people feel and who they want in the seats. Okay, that's what I got for today. A little bit of politics. Again, this one will only be on YouTube. Tell me what you think. Who you think we need up there and why in the comments. Make sure you hit a like on this video as well. Thank you again for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Biker News will be back 7 days a week again, banging them through. Again, if you got a business and you like my channel and you want full access to run ads on the Facebook group as much as you want and all that stuff, I'm looking for a sponsor for the channel. So track me down. Facebook Messenger is usually the best way. Find the Biker News Canada Facebook group and you'll find me and you send me a message and I will get back to you. Don't forget the patches, the cool Biker News Canada patches. They turned out so well. Let's get them going out the door. You know you need one. Grab one and a copy of my book. It's on Amazon. Or again, you can contact me and I'll sign you a signed edition. The names of the clubs and the participants have been changed in case you're wondering. Okay, guys, that's what I got. Thanks again. Much respect and love as always. And we'll see you tomorrow.